Hello and welcome back to Horoscope TV. We are so excited to have you with us today.
It's great to be here.
And if you are an Aries, or maybe you're living with one, working with one, or just, trying to survive being in the orbit of one,
Which can be a challenge.
it can be. Well, you have absolutely come to the right place. We are turning our full attention, our full undivided focus to the Ram today.
That's right. We are zooming in, getting really specific on the week of February 23rd to March 1st, 2026. And I have to say, just looking at the charts, at the planetary geometry for this week,
Well,
this is not your standard weekly update.
no, not at all.
It's complex, it's dense, there's a lot going on.
It really is. I was looking over the data, and it feels less like a forecast and more like a navigation guide for a week that just can't make up its mind.
That's a great way to put it.
It looks like it oscillates between this super high octane, let's go, let's conquer energy, and then, bam, these sudden, necessary, almost forced pauses.
It's a classic conflict of interest in the stars. You have that core Aries desire, which is always to charge forward head first, horns down.
Always.
And it's colliding head on with a cosmic command to slow way down. It's going to be a fascinating week to analyze.
Okay, so let's give our listeners the week at a glance before we really get into the nitty-gritty. What's the narrative arc here? Because when I look at the transits, it seriously feels like a movie script.
It really does.
It has a beginning, a middle with this massive plot twist, and then a resolution.
It does. So the setup, the first act, is all about tension. You start the week with this huge push, a real tangible drive to act, but then almost immediately the plot twists.
There it comes.
We have some serious midweek volatility. Specifically, we're looking at a Mars squaring Uranus transit, and that threatens to just completely disrupt the best laid plans.
And that's the conflict. That's the big, messy middle of the movie.
Exactly, that is the conflict. But, and this is important, there is a resolution. The week ends on the surprisingly soothing, really reflective note where clarity finally arrives.
Okay, so there's hope.
There is. So, if I had to position this week for you, Aries, it's a masterclass in patience and intuition.
Two things Aries are
Yeah,
notoriously famous for struggling with.
precisely. Which is exactly why this week is so important. If you can master this week, honestly, you can master the rest of the year.
Okay, let's unpack this. I want to start at the starting line. Monday, February 24th. We have a first quarter moon. Now, usually when we talk about moon phases, the first quarter moon is like a green light, right? It's the action phase.
Generally, yes. Let's look at the mechanics of it for a second. The first quarter moon is when the sun and the moon are at a 90-degree angle relative to each other.
A square.
A square, exactly. And in astrology, a square aspect always creates tension. But in the lunar cycle, that specific tension is productive. It's the friction you need to strike a match.
Right.
It's the point when the seeds you planted during the new moon start to sprout, and you realize, okay, now I have to do the physical work, the weeding, the watering to make them grow.
So for an Aries, who is a cardinal fire sign, I mean, the initiators, the Stark of the zodiac, this must feel like a shot of pure adrenaline.
It does. The analysis shows a very specific push toward your goals on this day. It's pure kinetic energy. You wake up on the 24th, you've got your coffee, and you are ready to conquer the world.
You've got the to-do list. It's a mile long. You've got the motivation.
You're feeling that cardinal fire just coursing through your veins. You're ready to sprint.
I hear a butt coming.
But here is the trap. And this is where it gets really interesting and where the nuance of astrology comes in. While that specific lunar energy says go, 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 the broader context of the week says wait. We are in the shadow of a major retrograde. So the pressure to make a move is incredibly high on Monday and Tuesday, but the actual astrological advice is do not rush.
That is so frustrating. It's like waking up, getting dressed, you feel amazing, you grab your bag, you're about to run out the door, and you realize you locked your keys inside the house.
That is a perfect analogy. It's all this potential energy with absolutely nowhere to discharge.
You're all dressed up with nowhere to go.
Exactly. And for an Aries, that feeling of left my keys inside can turn into frustration very, very quickly. Aries energy is just not designed to be contained. When you cap a volcano, it explodes.
So what's the strategy here?
Yeah.
If the moon is screaming, run, and the rest of the sky is whispering, stop, what do you actually do with that energy?
The key here is to use that energy for planning, for strategy, rather than for blind execution.
Okay.
Use the first quarter moon to sharpen the sword, but don't swing it yet. Do the prep work, outline the project, research the options, get everything lined up, because the ground is about to shift right under your feet.
And that shift happens
Yeah.
Wednesday, February 26th. This is the big headline of the week, right? Mercury turns retrograde in Pisces.
This is the game changer. This is the plot twist we were talking about. Mercury, the planet of communication, of logic, data, travel, contracts, it appears to move backward in the sky.
And it's doing this specifically in the sign of Pisces. We should probably break down what that combination really means, because the sign is just as important as the planet, isn't it?
It's everything. Mercury is usually sharp, fast, logical. It's binary code. It's A to B. It's about the facts.
And Pisces is anything but that. It's watery, dreamy, emotional. It's the ocean. It's intuition and fog.
Exactly. Astrologically, Mercury is in its detriment and its fall in Pisces. It is not comfortable there at all. It's like taking a very precise, fast-moving machine, that's Mercury, and dropping it into the middle of the deep ocean. That's Pisces.
So things get murky.
Things get murky, the fog rolls in, electronics can get glitchy, wires get crossed, words get dampened or totally misinterpreted. You say one thing, they hear something completely different.
So for an Aries who is used to such direct lines, I want this, so I will go get this, this has got to feel incredibly confusing.
It's disorienting. It's like walking through a house of mirrors. The universe is explicitly asking Aries to switch gears from doing to feeling. The instruction is to slow down and listen to your gut, to your intuition.
Why is this so hard for them? I mean, I know a lot of Aries, they act. They don't typically sit around and, feel the vibe before they jump into something.
Because Aries is ruled by Mars. They are warriors. Their instinct is direct action. To an Aries, subtlety can feel like weakness or like a total waste of time. They want to cut the Gordian knot, not spend hours patiently untying it.
Right. Just get it done.
But with Mercury retrograde in Pisces, direct action will almost certainly misfire. Logic won't solve the problems this week. Intuition will.
So if you try to force a logical solution on Wednesday the 26th, or try to win an argument with facts, you're just going to be spinning your wheels.
You'll spin your wheels, or worse, you'll misunderstand the entire situation because you're looking at the facts, but the truth is hiding in the feelings.
Oh, that's a good distinction.
It's like you're reading the spreadsheet, but the real problem is the team's morale. And a spreadsheet can't tell you that.
Okay, so we're navigating this emotional, intuitive fog on Wednesday. But then comes Thursday, February 27th, and looking at the data, this seems like the climax of the whole movie. We have Mars squaring Uranus.
This is the peak volatility of the week. Let's break down the players so we can really understand the stakes here.
Yeah.
Mars is Aries' ruling planet. It represents your drive, your aggression, your energy, your libido, your pure will to survive.
It's your gas pedal.
It's your gas pedal, yes. And Uranus is the planet of disruption, sudden change, rebellion, electricity, and breakthroughs, the Great Awakener.
And a square in astrology is always tension, right? Friction.
It's a hard angle, 90 degrees. It's two planets grinding against each other, creating sparks. When Mars squares Uranus, it can create a sensation that the world is moving too fast, or that things are breaking apart unexpectedly. It's like a lightning strike hitting a power line.
So for an Aries, this must feel like, I don't know, like buzzing electricity right under the skin, like you've had way too much coffee.
It feels like anxiety, or a sudden, desperate urge to break free from something. It's claustrophobia, a feeling of being trapped.
I can see that.
The warning here is very, very specific. This is the danger zone for acting out of anger or frustration. Because Uranus is so unpredictable, if you act on a hot impulse on the 27th, the result will likely be chaotic and not what you intended at all.
It's that moment where you're so frustrated with a tangled wire that you just want to rip it out of the wall. But if you do, you break the whole appliance.
Exactly. That is the perfect image for this transit. So the strategy we are seeing in the forecast is, frankly, simple but not easy. Stay calm.
Easier said than done on a day like that.
It sounds easy, but under this transit, it's heroic. The real challenge is maintaining your composure when external circumstances, or even your own internal state, feel completely chaotic.
So if you're an Aries listening to this, and on Thursday you feel that heat rising up your neck, and you just want to scream or quit your job or send a nuclear text message, don't.
Do not. Take a breath. Count to 10. Count to 100 if you have to. Go for a run carefully, which we'll get to later. This energy is fast, and it passes. But the damage it can cause can be lasting.
Okay, deep breaths on Thursday. Got it. But then we make it through the storm. We get to Friday, February 28th, and the chart shifts again. We have Mercury conjunct Venus.
This is the resolution. This is the exhale. Mercury, which is still retrograde, so it's still looking backward, meets up with Venus, the planet of love, harmony, values, and beauty.
That sounds lovely. A welcome change of pace.
It is. It brings a real softness to the end of the week. The result of this transit is often about finding peace with a secret or with a past event. Because Mercury is looking backward and Venus is here to soothe, it's a perfect day for internal reconciliation.
So it's less about external action and more about internal peace.
Totally. It means using this day to reflect on the path forward, rather than trying to force the path open. It's about transitioning into March with a big picture mindset, rather than that Aries tunnel vision.
That makes so much sense.
You've survived the fog, you've survived the lightning storm, and now the clouds break and you can actually see the horizon again.
I love that. What a journey in just 7 days. Okay, I want to pivot now to something that is, let's be honest, always on the mind of an Aries. Love and relationships.
Oh, yes.
Because when you have Venus involved and you have your ruler Mars squaring Uranus, relationships are absolutely going to feel the heat.
Ah, yes. And looking at the forecast, the love life for Aries this week isn't just hearts and flowers, it's much more psychological. It's deep.
The vibe is described as deep and mysterious.
Which connects right back to that Pisces energy we were just talking about. Pisces rules the 12th house in astrology, the house of the subconscious, of hidden enemies, but also of hidden dreams and karma.
So relationships this week aren't about the surface level stuff, like who's doing the dishes.
Not at all. They are about soul-level connections, old wounds coming up for review, and what's happening beneath the surface.
Let's talk about that old wounds part. The forecast mentions specifically returning to the past on February 28th.
Yes. That Mercury-Venus alignment we just mentioned is the trigger for this. It's very, very common under this particular influence to find yourself just thinking about an old flame, or perhaps literally hearing from them.
Oh boy, the classic should I text my ex moment.
Oh.
Or even worse, the dreaded hey stranger text popping up on your phone out of the blue.
And the answer usually with a retrograde is no, don't text back. But the thought of them is important. The universe is bringing them to mind for a reason. You might uncover a hidden feeling you didn't know was still there.
So the action isn't about reconciliation, it's about reflection.
It's about forgiveness. It's about letting go of old hurts. The action required here isn't necessarily to get back together, but to finally close that chapter in your own heart.
So it's about closure, internal closure.
It's about internal housekeeping. Why is looking back actually helpful this week? Because you can't move forward into the new astrological year, which starts very soon for you, Aries, when the sun enters your sign in late March if you're dragging an anchor from 3 years ago. Use the 28th to cut the chain.
That's a really powerful way to look at it. Okay, what if you're single? The forecast mentions soul connections. That sounds promising.
This is exciting. For single Aries, there is a real potential to feel a connection with someone unexpected. But here is the nuance, and it's an important one. It's not the usual Aries love at first sight based on a jolt of physical attraction or the thrill of the chase.
It's not just, oh, they're hot.
No, not this week. It's an intuitive resonance. Thanks to that strong Pisces influence, you might meet someone and just feel like, I know you. It's a quieter but much deeper feeling. It's almost telepathic.
I love that. Okay, but for the couples, it looks a little trickier. We have this phrase in the notes that I want to talk about, kindness versus rightness.
This is the ultimate challenge for Aries this week. Let's be honest about the Aries archetype. Aries loves to be right. They have to be right.
They really do.
They are the first sign of the zodiac. They are the infant and the leader. They want to win the argument. To an Aries, an argument is a sport, and they play to win.
But the forecast says that's not the game to play this week.
The forecast explicitly says, showing kindness is more important than being right. Remember that friction from February 27th, that Mars-Uranus square, that irritable energy leaks into your closest relationships. Sudden moods can cause huge arguments over practically nothing.
So your partner leaves a wet towel on the bed, and because of Mars squaring Uranus, you want to launch into a 10-minute lecture about respect and cleanliness and how you're not their mother.
Right. And you might be factually right. The towel probably shouldn't be there. But the advice from the stars is, don't let it go. Trust your heart over your head this week. If you win the argument, but you hurt your partner's feelings, especially with everyone being so sensitive under this Pisces influence, you've actually lost.
That's a big reframe for an Aries. The expert also emphasizes vulnerability here.
Yes. For an Aries, dropping the armor is the hardest thing to do. They want to be the knight, never the one in distress. They can view vulnerability as an exposed flank in battle.
But this week, It's a strength.
It's the secret weapon this week. Let love flow like water, be adaptable, rather than being rigid and brittle. Rigidity will snap this week under the pressure. Flexibility will survive and thrive.
That is such good advice for any week, but especially this one. Okay, let's move to where Aries usually spends a lot of that fiery energy, work and career, because the retrograde rules are in full effect here.
They certainly are. The Mercury retrograde starts on Feb 26th. And for your career, the rule is pretty absolute. Do not start brand new projects if you can possibly avoid it.
But why? Aries loves starting new projects. That's their favorite thing. They're the starters of the zodiac. They'll start a million things and finish, well, some of them.
I know. It's completely contrary to their nature. But under this influence, the details are foggy. The communication is murky. If you launch something new right now, a new website, a new business entity, a new marketing campaign, you will very likely have to redo it later.
It's just doomed from the start.
Not doomed, but flawed. The launch will have glitches. The communication around it will be unclear. The contract you sign will have a loophole you didn't see.
So what should they do instead? Just sit there and wait. That sounds impossible for a ram.
No, never. Aries can't just sit there. They'll combust. The opportunity here is to finish old tasks. All those things on the back burner. This is the time. It's a great week to clear the desk.
The forecast mentions finding mistakes in past work, which actually sounds useful.
Yes. Think of this week as quality control week. You might look at a report you wrote last month and suddenly realize, oh my gosh, I missed this entire section, or these numbers are totally wrong. The retrograde gives you a second chance to fix it before it becomes a bigger problem.
That's a really positive spin on it. It's not a delay, it's a save.
Exactly. It's a cosmic safety net. It's the universe giving you a chance to edit your own work before you turn it in for a final grade.
I like that. But we have to talk about navigating the workplace minefield on, you guessed it, February 27th.
The danger day again.
The danger day.
Yeah.
Mars and Uranus causing sudden changes or conflict with a boss or a coworker.
It's a high-risk day for professional friction.
Okay, so let's picture this. You're at work, it's Thursday, your boss comes in and suddenly moves up a deadline by a week, or a coworker completely drops the ball on a project you both share. The Aries instinct is to fight for control, to say, this is ridiculous, it's not fair, and try to take over.
And that would be a huge mistake this week. The reaction needs to be managed. The threat is real, but the solution is to stay flexible. Do not engage in the power struggle.
Stay flexible. That's so hard when you feel like you're right and everyone else is being incompetent.
It is, but if you fight on the 27th, you'll just look erratic. You'll look like the problem. If you stay calm, if you adapt, you look like a leader.
And the payoff?
The payoff is that your patience and your steadiness will be noticed. While everyone else is panicking or pointing fingers, the steadfast Aries wins by default. You win by not playing the chaotic game.
You're playing the long game.
Always. And then you can use that resolution energy on Friday the 28th. If there was a conflict, use the Mercury-Venus energy to talk through the problem with kindness and diplomacy. You'll solve the conflict through connection, not force.
Diplomacy rather than force. That should be the tattoo for Aries this week.
You really should. At least put it on a Post-it note on your computer monitor.
Good idea. Okay, let's talk about the wallet. Money and finance. We have a section here called the impulse trap. That sounds ominous.
It's a very specific warning. The general outlook for your finances this week actually looks stable if discipline is maintained. But that if is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
It's that Mars-Uranus square again on the 27th, isn't it? That's the culprit.
It is. It warns against risk. This is not the week to gamble. This is not the week to throw a bunch of money into a volatile stock because you have a hunch. And it is definitely not the week to go shopping without a very specific list.
The psychology of spending here is really interesting. The forecast mentions emotional spending.
Yes. The urge to buy something expensive to feel better. We all call it retail therapy. But with this particular transit, it's dangerous. You might feel a sudden spike of that Mars-Uranus frustration or boredom, that's dopamine-seeking behavior, and your brain says, if I just buy this new gadget, these new shoes, this car, I will feel excitement.
And you will, for about 5 minutes.
Exactly. The urge is temporary. The bill is permanent. And with Uranus involved, the planet of weirdness, you might buy something really strange, something you'd never usually wear or use, and a week later you'll look at it and think, what was I thinking?
So the advice is simple, I assume.
Very simple. Wait. Put it in the online cart, but don't click buy. Walk away. Wait 24 hours. Better yet, wait 48 hours. See if you still want it when the cosmic storm has passed.
And with Mercury retrograde, there's a practical side to this too, right? Beyond just impulse control.
Absolutely. Double check your bank statements. Double-check your receipts. Watch for small delays in payments coming in or going out. If you have a bill due, maybe pay it a day early just in case the internet goes down or the bank's app decides to glitch out. Mercury rules commerce. When it's retrograde, commerce gets glitchy.
But there is a light at the end of the financial tunnel on the 28th.
Yes. The shift on Friday moves from reactive spending to proactive saving. The dream comes into focus. You might get a really clear idea of how to save for a specific dream. Maybe it's a trip, a down payment on a house, or seed money for a new business.
I like that. It flips the script from don't spend to save for something better.
It gives the Aries a goal. And Aries absolutely loves a goal. Just one little social rule to keep in mind this week.
What's that?
Keep the budget simple and avoid lending money to friends right now.
Oh, that's a good tip.
Yeah.
Why is that specific to this week?
With the retrograde and all the Neptune-Pisces influence, boundaries get really blurry. You might lend money thinking it's a loan, but they might receive it thinking it's a gift, and suddenly you have a friendship problem that's way more complicated than the money itself. Just say no for now. You can blame the stars if you have to.
Excellent advice.
Great.
Okay, let's check in on the body, health and wellness. The theme here is managing the battery.
And the battery is glitchy this week. The forecast says your energy will go up and down dramatically. It is not a steady burn.
Which has to be annoying for Aries, who usually runs on high until they suddenly crash.
Right. This week, the crash can happen at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday for no apparent reason. So prioritizing sleep is completely non-negotiable.
And there's a mental health aspect, too, with the brain fog.
Yes. The transition to retrograde on the 26th brings that fog in. Your mind just feels tired. It's not laziness, it's a cosmic processing cycle. Quiet rest is essential. You can't just power through it with more caffeine.
I feel like quiet rest is the hardest prescription you could possibly give in Aries. They want to do something active to relax.
Then do something active but gentle. Go for a long walk. Go for a swim. Swimming is excellent with all this Pisces water energy. But do not try to set a new personal record on your deadlift.
Which brings us to physical safety on the 27th.
The clumsiness factor.
The Mars square Uranus transit makes one clumsy if rushing. I've definitely felt this.
Oh, it's very real. It happens because your mind is moving faster than your body, or your body's moving with a sudden, jerky energy that your spatial awareness can't keep up with. It's a disconnect in proprioception.
So watch your toes on door frames.
Watch your toes. Be careful at the gym. If you're lifting weights, maybe don't try for a personal best on Thursday. Slow down all your movements. Be deliberate. Don't run down the stairs. Walk down the stairs. It's that simple.
And what about diet?
Stay hydrated. Drink more water, especially with the emotional intensity. Eat fresh food to counterbalance the heavy, foggy energy. And then on the 28th, use that peaceful Venusian energy to meditate or journal or just read a book. The body needs a break from the noise of the world.
I love that image, shutting out the noise. Okay, we're heading into the final stretch. Section 6, the toolbox. This is where we give you the specific, tangible tools to navigate the week. Let's start with color therapy.
The color of the week is deep red. And for the designers out there, we're talking code #80000, a true rich burgundy or oxblood.
Why deep red? Aries is usually associated with bright red, like a fire engine, a Ferrari red.
Bright red is active, it's frantic, it's Mars in its most externalized form. Deep red is grounded power. It still connects to the Aries fire, it acknowledges who you are, but it's blood red, it's deep. It suits the reflective, intuitive nature of the specific week. It's power held in reserve, not power being recklessly spent.
So just wearing that color might help ground you.
Absolutely. It's a subconscious reminder to keep your fire burning, but to keep it contained and steady. Wear a burgundy scarf, paint your nails dark red. Even just having a deep red coffee mug on your desk can help.
Okay, cosmic timing. What are the dates to circle on the calendar?
February 24th is the push. Use that day for your motivation and planning. And February 28th is the peace. Use that day for resolution, connection, and healing.
And for those who play the lottery, or just see repeating numbers, 7, 14, 21, 33, 40, and 48.
Lots of patterns of 7 in there, the number of spirit and introspection. Interesting.
Now, this is my favorite part, the compatibility analysis. Who should Aries hang out with this week, and who should they maybe give a little space?
Okay, so the best match this week is Leo.
Another fire sign. That makes sense.
Yes, Leo brings warmth and confidence, which Aries will need. Here's the dynamic. When the first quarter moon on Monday pushes Aries to act, Leo is the ultimate cheerleader. They love action too. They'll say, yes, do it. That's an amazing idea. You're a star.
We all need a Leo in our corner.
We do. But also, when the world feels unpredictable and chaotic around the 28th, Leo offers loyalty and ground. They are a fixed sign. Aries is cardinal, the starter. Leo is fixed, the sustainer. They are steady. They can help make the week's challenges feel fun rather than scary.
Okay, so find your Leos. Now, who is the worst match?
This week, it's Cancer.
Oh, the crap. Why is that?
It's a classic elemental clash. Cancer is water, Aries is fire. But specifically this week, Cancer is feeling that Pisces energy very intensely. They're going to be extra sensitive. Meanwhile, Aries is trying to move, trying to cut through the fog, and feeling very impatient.
And that Mars-Uranus square makes Aries blunt.
Incredibly blunt. Aries will say something direct, maybe a little harsh because they are stressed out and they won't even think twice about it. But to a Cancer who is already feeling all the emotional vibes in the air, this can feel like a direct personal attack.
So the misunderstanding is, Cancer seems overly moody and slow to Aries, and Aries seems harsh and mean to Cancer.
Correct. And with Mercury retrograde, you can't even talk your way out of it easily. The apology will come out wrong. The explanation will get twisted. Talking to a sensitive Cancer this week might just lead to a spiral of misunderstandings.
So what's the advice? Just avoid them.
Give them space. It's not a breakup, it's just a little break. Avoid forced, heavy conversations. Let the cosmic energy settle before you try to bridge that gap.
That is some very solid, practical advice. Don't force it.
Never force it during a retrograde. That's rule number 1.
Well, this has been an absolutely incredible look at the week ahead. I feel like we've really mapped out the terrain for our Aries listeners.
I think so. If we step back and analyze the whole picture, it's really a test.
A test of what specifically?
A test of patience, first and foremost. It's a chance to fix the past, thanks to that helpful retrograde. And it's a huge lesson in emotional intelligence, courtesy of all that Pisces energy.
And the big takeaway is, don't fight the tide.
Exactly. If you try to swim against the current this week, you will just exhaust yourself and go nowhere. If you float, if you let the retrograde help you finish up all that old stuff, you will find yourself perfectly positioned for the new stuff that's coming in March.
Let the retrograde help you.
Hmm.
I really like that perspective shift. It's not a curse, it's a tool.
It's always a tool if you know how to use it.
Well, thank you so much for breaking all of this down with us, and thank you to our listeners for tuning into this specific forecast on Horoscope TV.
It's always a pleasure to analyze the stars with you.
If you found this helpful and you want to be ready for what comes next, please make sure you subscribe to Horoscope TV. That way you'll get notified the second the next episode and next week's forecast is available. You really don't want to miss the shift into March.
March is going to be a whole different story, a lot more forward motion.
Absolutely. Until then, trust your gut, watch your step on Thursday, and wear that deep red. We'll see you next time on Horoscope TV.
Goodbye, everyone. Take care.